Imagine standing on a metal tower 200 feet in the air. One wrong move. Not a mistake, just one wrong move. And 138,000 volts of electricity will pass through your body in less time than it takes you to blink. That's enough power to melt the boots off your feet before you even feel pain. Now here's the part that should really scare you. Someone does this on purpose. Today, right now, somewhere in the world, a person is climbing toward a wire carrying enough electricity to light up an entire town. And they're doing it without cutting the power off first. They're called linemen. And by almost every measure that matters, fall height, voltage exposure, weather conditions, and the simple fact that one mistake means instant death, their job has been ranked among the most dangerous professions on Earth. More dangerous, statistically, than being a logger. More dangerous than deep-sea fishing. In some years, more dangerous than being a police officer. So why would anyone choose to do this? And what actually happens up there that makes it so lethal? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what it takes to survive a job where the power is never really off, and why the people who do it are some of the most skilled, disciplined professionals most of us will never think twice about. Let's get into it. Here's something most people don't realize. Electricity doesn't need to touch you to kill you. At extremely high voltages, the kind found on transmission lines, electricity can arc, meaning it can jump through the air toward anything that offers it an easier path to the ground. That includes a human body. Get too close to a high voltage line, even without touching it, and the electricity can literally reach out and find you. This is called an arc flash, and it's one of the most terrifying hazards in the entire industry. In a fraction of a second, an arc flash can reach temperatures hotter than the surface of the sun, around 35,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It doesn't just burn skin. It can vaporize metal tools, ignite clothing instantly, and generate a shockwave powerful enough to throw a grown man off a tower. And here's the detail that makes this job uniquely brutal compared to almost any other. Linemen frequently work on lines that are still energized, meaning the power was never shut off in the first place. Why would anyone allow that? Because shutting down a major transmission line can cut electricity to hospitals, water treatment plants, and entire cities. So instead of turning the power off, specially trained linemen suit up in insulated gear, sometimes literally bonding themselves electrically to the wire so that their body and the line are at the same voltage. A technique called bare hand work. Done correctly, it's safe. Done with a single lapse in concentration, it's fatal. That's the paradox at the heart of this profession. The same electricity that powers your phone charger, your refrigerator, your hospital's life support machines, is treated, by the people who deliver it to you, as a predator that never sleeps. Let's talk about height, because voltage is only half the danger. Transmission towers, the massive steel lattice structures that carry high voltage power across countryside and cities, can stand well over 200 feet tall. To put that in perspective, that's roughly the height of a 20-story building, except there are no walls, no railings most of the way up, and often no elevator. Just a steel ladder, a harness, and your own grip strength. Linemen climb these structures in wind, in rain, sometimes in the middle of the night during a storm, because that's exactly when power lines are most likely to fail, and most in need of repair. Picture this scenario. A hurricane rips through a coastal town. Trees crash into power lines. An entire neighborhood goes dark. While most people are sheltering indoors, a line crew is dispatched into the wreckage. They arrive to find a transmission line down across a flooded road, a wire that could still be carrying deadly current, half submerged in water that's now electrified. Their job isn't to wait for the storm to pass. Their job is to identify the fault, isolate the danger, and get the power back on for the hospital 3 miles away that just switched to its last backup generator. There is no call it a day in this profession when the weather turns bad. Bad weather is often exactly when the call comes in. And it's not just storms. Ice storms are, in some ways, even worse. Ice can add thousands of pounds of extra weight to power lines, causing towers to buckle and cables to snap under tension, sometimes whipping through the air like a steel cable trying to cut through anything in its path. Linemen have to climb into these frozen, unstable structures in freezing temperatures, wearing gear that has to be flexible enough to climb in, but insulated enough to survive contact with the very thing that could kill them. So what actually happens when a mistake occurs up there? Because the margin for error is so small, incident investigators in this industry have a name for accidents involving high voltage. They call them contact injuries, a clinical term for something that is almost always catastrophic. Electrical current entering the body doesn't just cause a burn on the surface. It travels through the body seeking the fastest route to the ground, often passing through the heart, muscles, and internal organs along the way. Survivors of severe electrical contact frequently lose fingers, hands, or entire limbs, not from the initial shock, but because the internal tissue damage is so severe that amputation becomes the only way to save the person's life. This is why the training for this job is so intense and so long. Becoming a certified journeyman lineman in most countries takes 3 to 4 years of a structured apprenticeship, combining classroom electrical theory with thousands of hours of hands-on field work. Trainees start by mastering pole climbing techniques on de-energized, practice lines before they're ever allowed near a live wire. They learn to read weather patterns, calculate minimum approach distances based on voltage levels, and, critically, they train obsessively in rescue procedures, because if a crew member does make contact with a live line, the people most likely to save his life are the co-workers standing right next to him. That single detail says everything about this profession. Linemen don't just trust their equipment. They trust each other, completely, every single day, because the job simply cannot be done any other way. A crew that doesn't communicate, that doesn't double-check each other's harnesses and grounding procedures, is a crew that won't all go home at the end of the shift. Here's something that might surprise you. Some of the most dangerous work in this field is completely voluntary, and it happens hundreds of miles from home. When a major hurricane or ice storm knocks out power across an entire region, local utility crews are often overwhelmed. That's when mutual aid crews get the call. Linemen who volunteer to leave their families, load their trucks onto flatbed trailers, and drive, sometimes for days, into the disaster zone. They arrive in towns they've never seen before, work with strangers as new teammates, sleep in hotel parking lots or makeshift camps, and put in 16-hour days climbing storm-damaged towers, often walking past flooded streets and down trees just to reach the pole they need to fix. Why would anyone volunteer for that? Ask most linemen, and you'll get some version of the same answer. Because somewhere in that blacked-out town, there's a family with a newborn baby who needs the heat running, or an elderly couple who need their oxygen machine to keep working. For many people in this profession, restoring power isn't just a job. It's the literal difference between someone being safe or being in danger that night. It's a strange kind of heroism. No cameras, no parades. Most of the country will never know their names. They just get in the truck, drive toward the disaster everyone else is driving away from, and climb. At this point, you might be wondering, with all of this risk, why does anyone sign up? Part of the answer is pay. Experienced journeyman linemen, particularly those willing to travel for storm work, can earn six-figure incomes in many countries, a reflection of just how specialized and physically demanding the job is. But almost every lineman you talk to will tell you the money isn't the real reason they stay. There's a deep sense of pride in this trade. It's a brotherhood, quite literally passed down for generations in many families. Fathers training sons, mentors training apprentices, decades of hard-earned knowledge passed hand to hand up a steel tower. There's also an undeniable thrill to it. The view from 200 feet up, watching a storm roll in from the coast, knowing that the skill in your hands is the only thing standing between a city and total darkness. And maybe most importantly, there's purpose. Everything in modern life, hospitals, schools, water systems, the device you're watching this video on right now, depends on a power grid that someone, somewhere, has to physically build, maintain, and repair with their own hands. Linemen are the reason the lights come back on. They are, quite literally, the last line of defense between civilization and the dark. There's a quiet lesson buried in all of this. We live in a world where the things that keep us safest are usually the things we notice the least. Nobody thanks the water treatment worker. Nobody applauds the person who kept the power grid running through a hurricane at 3 a.m. We only notice these systems when they fail, when the lights go out, and suddenly we realize just how much we depend on people we've never met, doing work most of us would never dare to do. The next time your power flickers back on after a storm, somewhere out there, a lineman just came down off a tower, soaking wet, hands shaking from the cold, and got back in the truck to do it again at the next house down the road. That's not just a job. That's quiet, unglamorous courage, repeated every single day by people who will never ask for recognition. So maybe the real takeaway isn't just about how dangerous this job is. It's about how much we owe to the people who do the dangerous jobs so the rest of us never have to think about them. If this video gave you a new appreciation for the people who keep the lights on, that's exactly why channels like this one exist, to shine a light on the extraordinary people doing ordinary-sounding jobs that the rest of the world overlooks. If you want more stories like this one, hit subscribe and let me know in the comments which dangerous profession you want me to cover next. I read every single one. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.